Hi everybody. We are on to video 13. We are talking about Daniel. This will be one of our shorter videos, but I absolutely love the book of Daniel. Now I'm going to edit it down, way down, to kind of get us through the main points. So what I want you to write about in your journal, tell me what both of the dreams mean and tell me what the timeline means, okay? We're about to go through the two dreams and the timeline. And then also I want you to give me the significance of the angel Gabriel, okay? So remember all those. Okay, Daniel. He is a young boy that is taken as a slave to the Babylonian Empire. He is imprisoned and King Nebuchadnezzar is ruling. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. He dreams of a statue, this beautiful statue. The head is made of gold, the chest and the arms are made of silver, the belly is made of bronze, and then the legs are made of a mixture of iron and clay. Then, in the dream, a stone not cut by human hands destroys the statue and grows into a great mountain. Well, the king wants to know what this means, and his dream interpreters, they cannot tell him. They come to find out, however, that there is somebody in the dungeons who may be able to interpret the dream, and that's Daniel. So Daniel actually is brought to the king and he interprets the king's dream. And here's what he tells him. He says, every single metal or material represents a kingdom. The gold is representative of Babylon, the people in rule right now, King Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. The chest of silver is representative of Persians. The belly is representative of the Greeks, and the legs that are a mixture of iron and clay represent the Romans. Now, what's interesting is when the Romans rule, they do have a divided kingdom. So it's interesting that there's this mixture. Now, what we're told is then the stone not cut by human hands represents essentially human kingdoms being destroyed and a lasting kingdom being established by God. So this happens historically. The Babylonians fall to Persia. Persia falls to Greece. Persians fall to Greece. And then the Greeks fall to Rome. Okay? So this is pretty big. Now, Daniel, eventually in the book of Daniel, in chapter 7, he also has a dream. What he dreams is of 4 beasts that rise up one at a time. The first is a lion. The second is a bear, the third is a leopard, and the 4 is just described as this great beast. And then in his dream, he says, one like the Son of Man comes and defeats all of them and then sits on his throne forever. Now, Daniel is in need of a dream interpreter. And who interprets his dream but the angel Gabriel? We only hear about Gabriel one other time, and that is when he announces Christ, the coming of Jesus. So coincidentally, the Old Testament, Gabriel announces the coming of Christ. So what he does is he interprets the dream of Daniel. And he says essentially the same stuff that Daniel had told King Nebuchadnezzar. Your lion represents the Babylonian kingdom. The Babylonian kingdom will be defeated by the bear, which is the representative of the Persians. Persians will be defeated by the leopard, which represents Greece. And then Greece will be defeated by that beast, which is Rome. And then following that, that is when one like a Son of Man will come, destroy all of them, and live on a throne that lasts forever. Now, not only is this to happen, but this one like a Son of Man is going to come in 490 years. The way that he spells it out, the way that the angel spells it out is a bit confusing. It's in chapter 9, where he talks about the 70 weeks of years. Ultimately, the 70 weeks of years equals about 490 years. So if historically, at this point, because remember, in the previous videos, we talked about what do you do with the stories? Is it history? Is it not? Are we meant to just take it allegorically? Is there something that we need to hang on to that is not allegory, that it's fact? And this is what we're looking at here. We get a timeline. So 490 years. So if we go from this time period of the Babylonian Empire, 490 years, what we get is the crucifixion and the resurrection of Christ. So Gabriel announces to Daniel, one like a son of man is coming. He's going to rule forever. Now, this title, one like a son of man, is unique. And it can actually mean two things, because people who are bilingual understand this. People like me who aren't, it's much more difficult. But when you take a sentence and you say it in one language and then translate it, it doesn't always have the same meaning. You can goof around with this idea in Google Translate. Type a paragraph, hit translate into another language, and then translate it back to English. It's all over the place. But one like a son of man can mean a man, or it can be something completely different here, which essentially is equating it with God. And that's what we're looking at. Now, Jesus in the Gospels will call himself the Son of Man 80 times. And this is by no accident. Other people don't come in and say, hey, one like a son of man, are you hungry? No, that doesn't happen. But Christ refers to himself 80 times as one like a son of man. The reason being, he is pointing back to Daniel, to the Old Testament that predicted him. Because again, the New Testament is hidden in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is fulfilled in the New Testament. These kind of things here, what we're talking about, the typology of the Old Testament and the predictions in the Old Testament, is why we believe Christ is God. You cannot base your faith off of, well, my mom told me that he was God, so I believe her. That's wonderful. Like, we all start out believing our parents, but at one point, and that's what confirmation is, you are moving into the adulthood of spirituality. You need to understand why we believe this. It's not just that Jesus said he was, but it is everything that came before him. If I came to you and I said, hi, I'm God, are you going to worship me? I mean, I just told you I was God. Are you going to bow down and worship me? Probably not, because you have no proof, okay? Your history is in the Old Testament, and the history of why we believe Christ to be the Messiah is in the Old Testament, okay? So it's important. So the writing prompt, write down what the dreams meant, write down the significance of the angel Gabriel, and there's something else, the significance of the timeline that Gabriel gives. What is so significant about 490 years from the Babylonian Empire? Where does that take us to? So quick video, under 8 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. After this, we are going to go ahead and jump to the New Testament so that hopefully I can make the consuming of God make sense. So that's the next goal. Have a wonderful whatever kind of time gap you have coming up between this and the 14th video, and I will see you back here.